Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? It's been a while since I made a video. I just haven't had the time, just work and everything, and just a bunch of usual shit going on in my life. But I'm here today to do a video, and if you could be kind enough and you would really help me out by hitting that subscribe button, I would really appreciate that. Just bump me up to 1,000 people. That's all I want. And I would really be happy. Sorry, the cat's doing something weird. Get out of there, you. So, anyway, let me turn this a bit. Maybe? Sure, why not? There we go. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be another Tales from the Kitchen video. This one goes back a few years. It's there was this guy. His name was George. He was, he was about the same age as me. He was I think he was a year older. And hold on, come here, come here. There. Everyone likes to see a cat. There, you gonna say hi? There, look, there you are. Ooh, and yeah, there's lots of noise out in the hall. What's all that about? Okay. Anyway, here. Go play with that. So anyway, yeah, he was about the same age as me. I worked with him. It was probably about maybe about 12 years ago, I guess, roughly. Last time I worked with him. Anyway, so this guy, George, probably one of the nicest people you could ever meet. I wouldn't say we were like friends, but we were definitely like work friends, I guess you could say. So George was about 5'2". He was a short guy. However, he was built like a brick shithouse. The guy was like a micro Hulk. He was like this wide, like legit. He was like his arms, his biceps were the size of my leg. Like he was a bodybuilder, and he was just completely jacked. But again, really humble, really nice guy. But we did have a really good working relationship because at the time he was a manager and I was kitchen manager, and he should have been a general manager. But it all comes down to this again because he had enough experience and enough knowledge to know that he would be getting ripped off, and the company knew that. So it was one of these situations where they hire young people who don't know any better, and the people that do know a little bit better, it's like, oh, sorry, we're going to bring in new talent, which is bullshit, but that's just the truth. But anyway, I used to prank George a lot, joke around with him. And a lot of it, yeah, it had to do with his height. And it's not often that I meet people that are, sorry, the cat keeps coming over here to do bad things. Okay, he was just looking for his toy. Okay, ready? You ready? Yeah, go get it. That's all he wanted. He wanted his toy. I didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't see what he was doing. But yeah, it's not often that I meet somebody who is shorter than me. So it's kind of at least in terms of males, guys, and so it's kind of a novelty. And yeah, I used to do a bunch of pranks and things and stuff like that because we had to share the office a lot of times because I'd be doing ordering and he'd be doing his front of house office stuff. But just one of the things I used to get him with all the time, and I know it sounds kind of gross, but whatever, it's funny, is, I'd use the staff washroom and then I'd always trick him into going in after. And when I say use the staff washroom, I don't mean to take a leak, right? So I would go in there, do my business, and now the other cat's doing something. But I'd go in there and do my business, and then I always trick him into going in afterwards. And I always had to come up with different ways of getting him in there. So I'd come out one day, and now I know he liked Asian women a lot, right? So I'd always say, hey, why is there a porno magazine in there? To be like, what? And I go, yeah. And I'd make up some weird name, like, Asian hot honeys or something like that. Asian bunnies or something silly, some silly like porno magazine title, right? So, and he'd be really, and he'd go in there, and then the look on it, he would turn around, come right back out, and the look on his face would be like, fuck, again, or I'd say, oh, the tap's turning, but the water's not turning off. I don't know, do we have tools? And he runs in there, and I think about the fourth time, and then, this is over different, over a few months, but fourth or fifth time, finally, he goes down the hall towards the bathroom, and he stops, and he looks at me, and then I start laughing, and he shakes his head and walks away. He's like, yeah, no, not this time. But Now, like I said, he was a big, strong guy. Well, little strong guy, and he could actually. He said that his record for one rep was 490 pounds, which is a ridiculous amount of weight. And he wanted to. He couldn't quite get it to 500, which is something he wanted, which is what his goal was, to just be able to do that once. I don't know if he ever achieved that. I hope he did. For his own self achievements, or reaching a little bit of a goal for himself. But I haven't talked to him in years and years and years. But anyway, there was another guy there. His name was Ralph. Now Ralph was about 6'3", 300-pound football player. It's a big black dude. Really, again, a really super nice guy. And they were wrestling around one time, and George literally picked him up, and this guy was over 300 pounds. I think I just said that, but picked him up off the ground like a bear hug style, and just carried him for about 5-6 feet and pushed him into the wall. They're horsing around. They're just wrestling around. And it was like, just to see him, this little guy about this big, lifting this big dude about this big up like this, and just carrying him around and slamming him into the fridge was the funniest thing in the world, because the size difference was ridiculous. But one time he kind of did the same thing to me, and it was kind of my own fault. We were in the office together, and the computer I was using was close to the door, and the computer he was using was up against the wall. So I'm between him and the door, and I let one rip. And, sorry, it's gross, but it's still kind of funny. So George just turns around, looks at me, and he's like, and he did not have a happy look on his face. So he literally grabbed me, and you got to think, I'm not nearly the size of Ralph, and he just picked me up. It was like, I felt like a child being picked up by a smaller child, because he was so small, and he literally just grabs me, throws me out of the office, and there was some Febreze there, and he just grabs the Febreze, and he half shuts the door, and he sticks it in the office, and he's just standing there. And he was not happy, but he saw the humor in it, obviously, later on. A couple things about him too. He was a car enthusiast kind of guy, make modified sports cars, and he'd go race them and stuff. It's just something I threw down on my notes here. I worked at him actually at 2 different locations. And the second location, both locations were kind of fun. The second location just kind of sucked, because who was the management team aside from him was just a bunch of idiots and children, in my opinion, because they were like early 20s, and they're running the store themselves, and they all still lived at home. It's like, how the hell can you manage? You're managing a restaurant, but yet you don't pay rent. You don't pay your bill. You don't have any bills to pay. Like, how can you manage someone else's $1 million investment, and you don't have the first clue about living on your own? I don't know. To me, that's just weird. But anyway, there was one thing I did at the first store is somebody got mad, and they kicked a hole in the bathroom wall, which was about so far off the floor. So I went in there, and I wrote George's glory hole around it. And then I didn't say anything about it. I kind of forgot about it, actually. And I'm working, doing my thing, and George comes storming down the hallway in the back area of the restaurant. There's the office here, and there's a big long hallway where all our dry storage and everything is. And then the staff washrooms at the end. So he comes charging down the hall up towards me, and I'm just kind of looking at him, and he's got this look like he's going to kill me on his face. And I'm just like, whoa, 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 what the fuck, George? And itchy. Like, what the fuck, George? And George grabs me, like, not like menacingly, just kind of like to get my attention. He grabs my jacket, and he's like, did you do that? And for a split second, I kind of forgot what he was talking about. And I just kind of looked at him, do what? And he goes, did you write that in the bathroom? And then it clicked in what I did. And he looked like he was ready to rip my head off. So I just denied it. I was like, no, what are you talking about? I don't know. And then he told me, and I went in the bathroom, and I saw it, and I laughed, right? Because I want to make it look legit. So I was like, I didn't do that. And he goes, you're not lying? And I go, no. And then he said must have been this other guy who used to joke around with him a lot. And I'm not going to say his name because I didn't particularly like the guy. But anyway, he goes, "Oh, when I see him, I'm gonna kill him," and all this other stuff. And he was ready just so out for blood. And I'm just like, so skip ahead about a year. I left, or maybe it was a couple years at this point, I guess. I left that store, or maybe it was, yeah, I can't remember the timeline. It was a long time ago because we worked for a few years, two different places. But anyway, eventually I did admit it to him that it was me. And he's like, "Why didn't you say that before?" And I go, because you look like you're going to pull my freaking arms off and beat me with them. And he started laughing and he's like, "Yeah, I kind of felt that way, you know." But, you know, because, you know, he didn't like that he was so short. I understand that. I mean, I'm 5'6" and he was about 5'2". That's a big difference, especially if you're a man. And but I used to do other things. I'd write things really high up on. We had a big whiteboard that had like the specials and all the instructions of day and whatever information the staff needed to know about. So I'd write way up on the top, "If you can reach this, you're not George." Yeah, he didn't appreciate that too much. But I used to do other pranks with him though. We'd have our inventory. Now every Sunday we'd have to do inventory counts. So I would do mine first. I'd do my back house stuff, and then he'd do his front of house stuff. But what I would sometimes do is I would print off a picture of maybe like a really hot looking woman, but she's actually trans. Now George isn't homophobic or anything like that, and as you know, I'm not either. But it would always catch him off guard, or it would just be some weird picture. So he opens it up and he goes, "Oh," and then he unfolds it, and then she's got a giant penis, right? Which, whatever. I'm not judging anybody for that or anything. I'm not ignorant that way, but it would always catch him off guard. He'd be like, "Oh, fuck, dude, I don't want to look at someone's dick," you know. But you would also think it was kind of funny. Now, not every week, because if you do it every week, then it loses its effect. But every couple weeks, you know, or it would just be some weird random picture, and it would actually get him in a better mood because sometimes by the end of the week he's a little stressed out and everything else. But I know what else I got about him. Bathroom, micro, throwing. Oh, a couple things here. Now here's the thing. Like I said, he's like this tall, but because he's this wide, he'd have to wear these like extra large shirts. So the sleeves would be like out to here on him, and he'd have them all rolled up to about here. And it was this big bunchy donut thing. These were just his work shirts, not his day-to-day shirts. So it always looked a little bit funny because it fit tightly around his chest because he was like a barrel around the chest. And so you know, it'd be like that. But then the sleeves were tight around his arms, so he had big arms. But then they were so long that I don't know if he had them cut and sewn or anything, but he'd have them rolled up to about here, and it was like this big bunch of things around there because it was just his body size. It was such an odd size. Like I said, short, built like this, like a bodybuilder. So his shirts always were like this kind of weird size because he probably wear a young adult size shirt for like a better term, but they don't make them that big unless it's for like a little, I'm going to say like a fat kid or something, right? But hi Lemmy. And and then there's also when I left the company for good, as a joke, I was hiding mushrooms everywhere. So they started finding mushrooms everywhere, and I went in one time just to say hi, and he's like, "Was that you, the mushrooms?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Holy fuck, they were everywhere," and they were literally everywhere. I was just everywhere on the computer. Okay, sorry, let me. Oh, hush. There, look, they want to see you too. Yeah, I know you don't like getting picked up. I know, I know. Okay, okay. But but yeah, I was putting them like, oh, and one other thing I did, I learned how to access the internet on our touchscreen computers that the servers would use to punch in the orders, the POS system or whatever it's called. And I figured out how to actually connect to the internet. So sometimes I would put on a porno and walk away, and he'd walk into the dining room, and all he can hear is and he'd look around, what the fuck is that? And he'd run over, what the fuck? He'd turn it off, and I would go do this at different ones. Like it wasn't always the same one until one day, the new GM, who was this crazy lady, she called head office and told them what was going on. She didn't say it was me because I don't think she actually knew it was me because George would never like tell on you. He would just say someone's doing this, and So anyway, yeah, I wasn't able to do that anymore. But guess that's probably about it. But it was just, he was just an interesting guy, super nice guy. Um, if I ever worked with him again, I think it would be probably a lot of fun because he had a sense of humor. I had a sense of humor, and we got along really well. Like I said, we weren't like friends. We didn't hang out, outside of work. We had our own personalities and everything, but at work we got along great. And if I ever see you again, George, I hope I do. Hope everything's going good for you, and maybe you've moved on from the industry and you're doing other things. And if you are, then I hope it's something you have a passion for, and wish you nothing but the best. And as far as everybody else out there watching right now, I wish all of you the best. And again, if you can hit that subscribe button, that like button, everything else, that would also really help me out a lot. And if you want to leave some comments below, if you have any stories about restaurants or any ideas about other stories I could be doing, in terms of restaurants or movies or anything, to be honest. And I'll get back to you for sure. And I guess that's all I'm going to say. And until next one, bye. I don't know if you can hear that. Lemmy growling at Gunner. Anyway, until the next one, bye.